everyone, Gino here, coming with my next how-to video. And today I'm going to be doing a how-to on something I've never done before, so that seems a little bit like an oxymoron there, but hey, whatever the case may be, we're going to try it. All right, so the subject of today's how-to actually resides right behind me, and it's my latest guitar purchase, and it's actually none other than a Squier Strat. And we'll get you to take a look at it real quick, and I'll tell you what I need to fix on here. Technically, I don't need to fix it, but it's going to bother me if I don't. So anyway, this thing was in great shape, and it's ready to go, plays fine, nothing wrong with the electronics or anything like that. The issue I have, and I'll take some close-up pictures so you can see it, is, because I don't think it'll focus here, but basically the tremolo bridge here, it's really rusty, and it's got corrosion and things like that in there, and once again you probably won't be able to see it, but we'll try this side too, and it's really going to bother me if I don't change it out. So I'm going to go and change the whole unit out, and hopefully it won't be too complicated, so it's going to have to pull the strings, of course, but here is the thing to fix it here. We got the whole kit. Costs about 14 bucks. It's not a huge block or anything, but I'm not exactly a big Wayne bar guy anyway. So, but yeah, it's really mostly cosmetic because there's nothing really wrong with it at all. But why have a good looking guitar like this and then just have that corrosion marring the appearance of it? So anyway, we'll get into some quick video here on hopefully how to do this. It shouldn't be too bad to change out. There's like 3 screws in the back for the spring system. And then we're going to run the strings up through and then hopefully just replace the bridge out, and you know, we'll call it a day. Of course, we'll have to do the intonation on it afterwards, but that's a problem for another day. So anyway, stay tuned. All right, first things first, let's get these strings loosened up and released.
2,000 years later.
All right, we're going to take the trem cover off back here. Oops. Could use power tools, of course, if you were so inclined. There's the actual trem system in there, and actually the block looks to be about the same size as what was already there. So, all right. So next, I backed out the screws for the trem system a little bit here, so you can pop these springs off. I was going to replace this, but I just noticed that there's actually a ground solder here that I forgot about. So my soldering iron is on the fritz, so rather than do that, I'll just reuse the old plate, or hopefully the whole old bracket, that is. And from there, we'll go unscrew the bridge itself up top. Alright, so I'm not going to bother with taking the strings out, just because I'm probably going to put new strings on there anyway. And the old block will just be going in the garbage, so be careful you don't strip out your screw heads. That's why you should probably use a hand tool for these, to be honest with you, but that'd take forever. Okay. And we'll do a little screwdriver to finish them off. Man, some of these really don't want to come out. Okay, I backed the screws out here. Be careful when you do this. And since I'm going to be getting rid of the strings anyway, I just went ahead and left them in there. Most likely I'm not going to reuse them, even though they're actually not that bad. Okay, so here's kind of, I can give you an idea what this is looking like. Okay, here's the old one, and you can see just how corroded and rusted out. It's weird that none of the other components really are. There's a little bit on the pickups, on the heads, but that's no big deal. But so yeah, so there's the old one. So let's go ahead and get the new one ready to go. All right, so I got my new strings, be ready to go on, but we'll get to that in just a minute. So basically now, if I can hold it up straight, there you go. You can see right through your guitar. It's a good time to check the cavity, make sure nothing's wrong. And let's go ahead and get the new system going. And there's a new one in all its glory. If it would focus, there we go. Nice and shiny and new. Okay. So let's go ahead and get the springs ready. All right, let's go ahead and put the new trim in there. All right, let's go ahead and pre-thread here the trim screws. Especially if you're using power tools, they're always very important to get a couple hand turns in so you don't have any mishaps when you start laying the torque on them. Make sure you're using the right screws, because there's also 2 screws for the bracket, the spring bracket, but so we won't be using that. But you don't want to bore out the hole because it's a little bit bigger of a screw. You might not know it when you first go in. And I'm not going to cinch this down completely. I'm going to do a few turns. Just to hold it in place and not to wallow it out, you'll see. Before I tighten it down too much, before I put the springs on there, it'd be hard to get the tension low enough to get the springs over them. Okay. Flipping. Okay, we're gonna take the new springs. Make sure we run underneath there. Make sure the point facing down. Sorry, I keep looking in the wrong direction here. And this may be a little tight for you at first. Let me give my little nudge down there. Make sure it's sunk. Okay. And if it's too snug, like it's too much of a reach, you may have to loosen your bolt here. Okay, now we got those set. Let's go ahead and lock this down. Well, we'll just lay it down for the sake of the video. Don't over torque these. Because you'll never get them back off again. And you don't want to, you also don't want to tear out the heads at all either. Let's put this down here. And you need to finish. I would finish off with a hand screwdriver. Okay. There, nice shiny new. Okay, make sure these are really well seated down there before you tighten your springs with this adjuster. So everything lined up perfectly, which is great. For this, I'm going to use a hand screwdriver. Hopefully you can see okay. I'm going to adjust them. Let me do this. I'm going to adjust them slowly and evenly. So not to put too much excess strain on any side. And this one was originally all the way back, flush to the back of the guitar, so, or the pocket. So we're gonna do the same thing. Okay. Seems pretty snug. The solder is intact and not getting pinched with the spring. Sometimes you can run them underneath or whatever, but I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, let's go ahead and flip her over and see what we can see. It's got the screw-in trim or whammy bar. Okay, let's try her out. It's pretty stiff, but that's okay. You don't, sorry. So it's pretty stiff. So I can maybe loosen that up a little bit if need be. We can adjust that after the fact. Okay. Okay, let's put some strings on there, shall we? All right, stuff is tightened down, Trem is working. It's snug, but not too incredibly snug, and we can always adjust that later as need be. Sorry, it's a little off there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and restring it. I also took the opportunity, by the way, if you're gonna restring a guitar or whatever, or, sorry, it's really close. I took the chance to go ahead and condition the fretboard and clean up the frets a little bit. They were a little bit gunky and dirty, so yeah, got a little lemon oil on there, so should bring out some more life out of that fretboard. So let's go ahead and get our new Ernie balls on there and see what happens. Make sure when you do this kind of thing, I always like to support or put a prop underneath your guitar. Sorry, that's my computer, not yours. To make sure you don't bend the strings when you pull it through and set down on them. All right, make sure they're pulled up in there pretty nice and snug, I mean. So, let's get one on there, shall we? Now this isn't a restringing tutorial. That's not my area of expertise. I've done it a few times, but I'm no expert. I think the general thumb is 2 machine heads away from, or of slack, so you don't have too much windage going on, so. Okay. Make sure you get pulled all the way up in the trem block. Okay, let's put some slack in there. Probably can't see that, but okay. Okay, make sure you line up in the nut, and just going to repeat the process for all 5, and then, or 5 remaining, and then we'll see if the trem works. All right, new trem block is put in there, whammy bar is attached, and I got it. It's gonna be falling out of tune like crazy. These are brand new strings, I'm sorry. And plus you start using this on these cheaper trems or whatever, I think they go out of tune pretty fast. But anyway, we'll see if it works. So let's see how bad we are. Close enough to a G. So let's try a G with some whammy. All right, sounds like it's working. How about I could loosen it up a tad for bigger bends or bigger trem action, but I don't think there's really a reason for it. I'm just playing clean. 1, 2. Add a little reverb here. We can get the old surf guitar feel, right? We can do that same old G. Cowabunga. Appears to be working, so yeah. Seems to be working great, so yeah, I'm really satisfied. So yeah, it was probably unnecessary, but you know, just for the look of it, I think it was a great choice to add the new shiny bits on there. And you know, it might have failed eventually, but it's got new components inside, so really it was like 13 bucks. I was so I bought this unit, it didn't have a whammy bar with it for whatever reason, and so I was like, well, I was pricing them out and they're like 7, 8 bucks for cheapo ones, right? But I'm like, I was looking at the trem block, I'm like, wow, this is pretty rusty and all that, and gunked up. How much does it cost for a new one? So it was like $13 with shipping. It's crazy, these components. I mean, it's not the highest end, of course, trem in the world, but this is not the highest end, you know, trem system, period. So what's wrong with it? So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with this, and the whole procedure, including restringing, took about 30 minutes. Maybe 45 at most, and you know, it took me like an hour because of all the camera work I had to do. But so I'd say it's totally worth it. If you're afraid of doing it, don't be. It's like literally what, 8 screws, and you don't even need power tools to do it. You can do it with hand tools. I mean, I got lazy and did it with power tools, but yeah. So I got to, of course, set the intonation. I haven't done that yet, but the new trem block should be easy enough to do with that. So yeah, that's about it. All right, yeah, so there you go. 12 bucks can make this, give a new lease of life, at least for the trem system in a guitar like this. You know, I wouldn't recommend this for a regular Fender or something you spend high dollars on. Take it to luthier if you're afraid of it, or buy a higher end block. This is a thinner block, you know, it's just like what comes standard on basically, I'd say, all of these, the imports like this. But really, it's an easy hack. I don't even say hack, but just an easy job to replace. Don't be afraid of it. If you can unscrew a screw, if you can restring your guitar, you're going to be fine. So yeah, make sure to stay tuned for more videos like this coming up in the near future. So until next time, this is Genome, simply trembling with anticipation for the new music. Out.